Japan's Musashi, the largest battleship ever built, glides through Truk's waters while torpedo bombers practice above. Ironically, these same aircraft couldn't save her. October 1944, American planes would send 72,000 tons of steel straight to the ocean floor. Training became prophecy. Behind these masks lie shattered faces, men unrecognizable even to their families. Paris, 1918. Anna Coleman Ladd sculpts new identities for soldiers destroyed by shrapnel. Each prosthetic hides horror, restores humanity. But what happens when they remove them at night? The real reconstruction begins there. "5'5" maximum. That's the height limit for this job. Vietnam, 1967. He'll crawl into pitch-black tunnels rigged with traps, snakes, and waiting enemy soldiers. One bullet in his .45. Ahead, 70 yards of suffocating darkness. Behind, 22 years of life. He descends anyway. Canterbury, 1928. 10 years after the armistice, and he's here, selling matchboxes for pennies. He survived the Sommers machine guns, Passchendaele's mud, poison gas that scarred his lungs. Britain promised a land fit for heroes. Instead, she gave him a street corner and indifference. What's a beautiful woman doing in Stanley Kubrick's Nuclear Nightmare? Tracy Reed, the only female character in Dr. Strangelove, lounges while men debate world annihilation. Kubrick's brutal message: masculinity will destroy us all. The bikini photoshoot scene got cut. The satire stayed razor-sharp. Apocalypse never looked so absurd. February 4, 1945, Luzon. American GIs stand beside Japan's Monster, a Type 7 howitzer hurling 500-pound shells. 4 months, this beast rained death on their advancing lines. Now silenced, captured, studied. Notice their faces, not triumph, but exhaustion. Victory's just another word for survival. Spitalfields, 1903, where London's forgotten children grow up fast. These two share more than a doorstep: hunger, disease, 12-hour workdays in sweatshop. Childhood here means survival, not innocence. Behind that wall, 18 families cram into spaces meant for 3. This is Victorian progress's dirty secret. September 15, 1944, Varese. This young cadet faces his promotion exam while Italy tears itself apart. Nazis occupying the north, allies pushing up from the south. Get the answer wrong here, die from the answer later. Every technical question carries the weight of coming battles. Knowledge equals survival. Rocancourt, France, August 11, 1944. Canadian troops joyride in their prize, a Nazi Schwimmwagen, hastily repainted Allied green. That's a captured GUA-43 rifle in back. 3 days past D-Day's chaos, they're scavenging enemy gear. War's darkest irony: you survive by stealing your enemy's tools. They're children playing soldiers with real weapons. September 1917, Boy Scouts demonstrate gas masks while actual boys their age choke on chlorine in Flanders trenches. This isn't preparedness, it's normalization. Britain's teaching kids that poison clouds are just another part of life now. Childhood innocence, weaponized. While husbands fight across Europe, Watford's women train for invasion. London, 1942, Hitler's forces sit just across the channel. These aren't symbolic gestures. They're last-line defenders learning to kill. Each trigger pull asks the same question: could you shoot a man in your living room? Hollywood, 1952. Cooper and Kelly huddle around primitive video playback, revolutionary technology letting actors see their performances instantly. High Noon would redefine westerns, Real-time tension, moral complexity, a hero terrified and alone. This grainy monitor showed them something new. Cinema was changing right before their eyes. April 11, 1912, Queenstown, Father Brown's final photograph before leaving Titanic. His Jesuit superior's telegram was brutally clear: "Get off that ship." 3 days later, 1,500 souls drowned in freezing darkness. Divine intervention or random luck? Either way, obedience saved him. His camera preserved what vanished forever. 17th century Poland, when cavalry wore steel and terror. The winged hussars charged at thundering speed, wings creating demonic rattling that shattered enemy formations before contact. This armor survived lances, sabers, musket balls. The man inside? He believed himself invincible. Sometimes, he actually was. Santo Domingo, 1929. USS Memphis, once America's pride, dies piece by piece under tropical sun. 13 years ago, a freak wave slammed her into these rocks, killing 40 sailors in minutes. Now she's scrap metal, picked apart like a carcass. Ships don't retire. They're devoured. China, date unknown, but the terror was constant. Japanese grenade launcher teams moved fast, set up, fire, vanish. Those Type 89 knee mortars could drop explosives 700 yards away. Chinese defenders never saw them coming. Notice their precision, their discipline. Industrial warfare meeting ancient battlegrounds. Efficiency weaponized. Early 1980s, Karakhechdi village, Azerbaijan. This shepherd's world exists outside Soviet modernity, ancient rhythms of flock and season unchanged for centuries. His children know mountain passes, not Moscow propaganda. 5 years from now, the USSR collapses. His life? Continues exactly the same. Empires fall, shepherds endure. Venezuela, 1962. A priest whispers final prayers while a soldier bleeds out on concrete. Political violence claimed thousands during this era's upheavals. Last rites offered in broad daylight, death too common for privacy. The priest's hand rests steady. He's done this before. He'll do it again tomorrow. Countess Annesley, 1895, captured on fragile glass that could shatter with one wrong move. Her silk gown cost more than her servants earned yearly. That composed expression hides everything: arranged marriage, social performance, gilded cage expectations. This glass negative survived 130 years. Her autonomy never existed at all. Chateau Thierry, 1918. They've turned a French railroad shop into a killing floor, machine guns positioned where locomotives once rolled. Company A, 9th Battalion, waits. German forces are 500 yards out. These mechanics' tools built trains, now soldiers' tools destroy men. Industrial revolution meets industrial slaughter. Max Sennett's Bathing Beauties, 1922, where Hollywood manufactured desire on California sand. Harriet Hammond poses in scandalous swimwear that could get women arrested on public beaches. This risque shot launched careers and moral panic simultaneously. She's not just modeling. She's testing society's boundaries, one photograph at a time. Piccadilly Circus explodes, New Year's 1931. Depression grips Britain, unemployment ravaging millions, but tonight London dances like tomorrow doesn't exist. Champagne flows while breadlines form elsewhere. These revelers celebrate entering a decade that brings fascism, another world war, unimaginable darkness. Right now though? Pure, defiant, doomed joy. What happens when the laughter stops? Backstage, 1940, John Gutman captures circus clowns stripped of performance. Painted smiles rest on exhausted faces. They've just entertained crowds escaping war news, but here, alone, the masks feel heavier. Comedy's cruelest trick, making others forget while remembering everything yourself. London, 1877. These tenements survived the Great Fire's flames in 1666, only to rot for 2 centuries. Families of 12 cram into single rooms. Cholera breeds in open sores below. The fire cleansed nothing, it just relocated misery. Stone endures, humanity decays within it. USNS Breton's final voyage, not across oceans, but to the scrapyard. She survived World War II's Pacific campaigns, carried troops, aircraft, hope. 30 years of service reduced to this: cables, tugboats, demolition. Ships don't retire with honors. They're dismembered for profit. Steel remembers nothing. Medora, Dakota Territory, 1890. The Eaton brothers invented something radical: dude ranching, letting city folks play cowboy for profit. Pittsburgh steel money meets frontier grit. They're pioneering American tourism before anyone called it that. Real cowboys laughed. Then watched them get rich. Authenticity was already for sale. Santa Lucia di Tolmino, Slovenia, 1944. Italian Bersaglier and German mountain trooper, uneasy allies under crumbling fascism. Behind them, a Semovente tank symbolizes Italy's collapse, outgunned, outdated, desperate. Mussolini's battalion is now Hitler's puppet. These soldiers know the war's lost. Survival trumps ideology now. January 4, 1976. Lapped bullets and Mal Evans, the Beatles' gentle giant, their protector, their friend. Here, George rides his shoulders during touring days when everything seemed possible. From Cavern Club to chaos, Mal carried them. Depression, isolation, a misunderstanding with police. Fame's aftermath claims another. Gulf War, 1991. Kentucky National Guard soldiers fly the Confederate flag in Kuwait, defending one nation under a banner that tried destroying it. They're liberating an Arab country while waving a symbol of oppression. The paradox is stunning: American troops, racist iconography, Middle Eastern sand. What message were they sending? Lake Kassan, August 1938. Japanese soldiers pack onto their Mazda-Go motorcycle. Industrial innovation meets imperial aggression. This border skirmish with Soviets is rehearsal for catastrophe ahead. 7 years later, atomic fire erases Hiroshima. Right now though, they ride confidently toward futures they can't imagine. War always starts optimistic. Saul Korn's job: smoke cigarettes professionally, evaluate quality, ensure satisfaction. For 40 years he inhaled research. Tobacco companies called it expertise. Doctors would soon call it cancer. His testing products that'll kill millions, including possibly himself. The smoke clears eventually. The damage stays forever. Baikonur Cosmodrome, 1980s. One man, one rocket, infinite Soviet ambition. That Soyuz behind him has carried cosmonauts beyond Earth's grip since the space race began. He stands proud, representing a superpower that'll collapse within years. The rocket still flies today. The empire? Dust and memory. Anzio, 1944. Italian SS troops, betrayers fighting for Hitler after Italy switched sides. The 29th Debica Battalion shoots at former allies while their countrymen join the resistance. Civil war wrapped inside World War. Brothers killing brothers for opposite ideologies. This is collaboration's face: desperate, divided, damned forever. Dolores Costello, Hollywood royalty before talkies killed careers overnight. Drew Barrymore's grandmother ruled silent cinema when beauty alone could convey tragedy. 2 years later, sound arrives. Her voice doesn't match expectations. Stardom evaporates. But the genetics? They'll resurrect 3 generations later in her granddaughter's eyes. China, 1939. Japanese cavalry scouts horizon for resistance fighters who've already vanished into villages, mountains, civilian crowds. Horses versus guerrilla warfare, imperial tradition meets asymmetric nightmare. They're searching for an enemy that's everywhere and nowhere. Hamburg, 1936. Every arm rises in Nazi salute, except August Landmesser's. Hitler passes directly before him. Landmesser won't comply. Irma Eckler, his Jewish love, watches somewhere. His crossed arms scream defiance in absolute silence. The regime will destroy him for this. One man. One moment. One choice. Late 1930s, England. Prince Mekonnen stands among British schoolboys, exiled royalty in someone else's kingdom. Mussolini's bombs drove Ethiopia's imperial family here in 1935. His memorizing textbooks while his nation burns. That house in Bath becomes sacred to Rastafarians later. Right now, it's just refuge from fascism. Baltic Coast, 1988. Soviet bikers on Czech Jawas, rebellion within communism's cracks. Custom leather jackets, illegal rock music, personal ownership of machines. The party tolerates this because collapse is coming. They can feel it. 1 year later, the Berlin Wall falls. Freedom was already riding these highways. Florida, 1880s. Captured on fragile glass, America's first indoor hotel pool, opulent escape for Gilded Age elite. While laborers sweat building railroads outside, wealthy northerners float in luxury. That glass negative preserves what hurricanes destroyed decades ago. The extravagance survived only in this image. Paradise, frozen, shattered. Piccadilly Circus, 1966. Michael Rogge captures London's bobbies, guardians of order in Britain's countercultural explosion. Beatles mania, mod fashion, sexual revolution swirl around them. Their uniforms represent Victorian tradition confronting youth rebellion. 5 years later, decriminalization reshapes everything. 2 Armenian women grip rifles, preparing for genocide that history won't even name yet. Ottoman massacres are beginning, 300,000 will die by 1896. These women refuse victimhood. They're choosing combat over slaughter. Their weapons won't stop empire, but their defiance survives this photograph. Resistance outlives empires. Spring 1942, North Africa. British POW receives treatment in Italian field hospital, enemy caring for enemy. Geneva Conventions made real, bandages, not bullets. Rommel's campaigns blur into sandstorms and casualties. Nationality matters less when blood flows the same. Tomorrow they're adversaries again. Today, just doctor and patient. Balkans, 1943. Mussolini's black shirts patrol hostile territory, MAB-38s ready, eyes scanning for partisans in every shadow. Yugoslav resistance is butchering fascist patrols weekly. These men know someone's watching, waiting. 6 months from now, Italy surrenders. These loyalists become hunted. The hunters become prey. Dutch Harbor, Alaska, June 3, 1942. Japan strikes American soil. Fuel tanks erupt into hellfire 6 months after Pearl Harbor. This forgotten assault aimed to distract from Midway. It failed. Those explosions illuminate Alaska's midnight sun. America's farthest edge burns. The war reaches everywhere now. Nowhere safe. August 1928, New York. Albert Anastasia's mugshot, murder charges that'll vanish like his witnesses. They disappeared or developed sudden amnesia before trial. This is organized crime's power: justice bought, intimidated, erased. 29 years later, bullets find him in a barber's chair. Different era. Same violence. Karma delayed. Comma. Arviat, 1949. She descends into ice architecture perfected over millennia, temperature regulating, wind resistant, survival engineered from frozen water. Southern Canadians live in wood houses with central heating. She thrives where they'd freeze. Modern doesn't mean better. Ancient doesn't mean primitive. Her home functions. That's all shelter needs. Victorian wedding, duty disguised as romance. She's likely never been alone with him. Their marriage was negotiated by families, sealed by property rights, enforced by law preventing her escape. That white dress symbolizes purity culture's stranglehold. Love might develop. Or decades of quiet suffering begin today. Maxine Cooper and Ralph Meekus noir chemistry crackles and Kiss Me Deadly, atomic paranoia wrapped in lust and violence. That suitcase they're chasing? Glowing nuclear material that incinerates everyone. Cold War anxiety meets Pulp Fiction brutality. The film asked, what if Pandora's box was real? Mushroom clouds answered. Ukraine, 1941–42. German mountain troops and Italian carabinieri, unlikely allies invading Soviet territory together. Axis partnership means Italians freezing in conditions they never trained for while Germans push towards Stalingrad. Both nations' sons die in someone else's ideology. 6 million Soviet civilians won't survive this collaboration. Blood-stained snow. Life magazine captures New America. Mom beneath the car, wrench in hand, husband overseas fighting. Women aren't just riveting bombers anymore, they're mechanics, providers, sole parents. Necessity demolishes gender roles overnight. When he returns, society expects her back in the kitchen. She won't forget what she learned here.